All right. Well, hello, everyone. We are so happy that you were able to join us tonight here. We are going to be learning about the housing opportunities that we have available here at Washburn. And we have a bunch of different people from wonderful segments. We do have Jack Van Dam, who is from the housing team at Washburn University. We have Carrie Wynn, who is from our honors program. We have Graciela, who is going to be from our first gen and for our first year students. And then we have Lauren Edelman from our leadership program. We also have some students here as well who are going to be able to let you know a little bit more from the student perspective as well. So we are going to get started here with Jack Van Dam, and he's going to do a housing presentation.
Cool, let me just share my screen real fast. And we'll get going. So one thing that we wanted to really do tonight was highlight like our 3 learning communities that we get to work with our wonderful campus partners on. And so one of the big things that we wanted to kick off with is what exactly is a learning community? And so really like the answer is it's your traditional housing experience, but elevated in kind of like multiple different ways. So one of those ways is every student on that specific floor has a shared common interest. So whether that be like they be passionate about academics or passionate about leadership development, or they happen to all identify as first generation students. And then with each learning community, there's a linked class, like an academic component that goes along with that. And so there's a leadership class that goes like with Dr. Edelman's hall. There is a one-on-one class that goes with Graciela's hall. And then there is like an anthropology class that goes like with Dr. Wynn's hall. And so like along with those 2 things, the 2 students that you see on the screen, they're both resident assistants for us like for this year. And so the resident assistants have targeted programming like specifically to those students who like either identify like in one of those 3 learning community areas they're interested in. And so what we tend to see with students who live on our learning communities is they tend to perform better in the classroom. They report an increased sense of belonging like on campus, and they're able to build better relationships with faculty members because like that faculty member's a lot more present in their world than like their traditional faculty member usually is. And so like I said, we have 3 learning community options for our incoming students. So we have our first generation learning community, we have our honors learning community, and then we have our leadership learning community. And so for our incoming freshmen, there's 2 different options that y'all have to choose from. So one is Lincoln Hall. It is over like kind of like by our Petro Allied Health Center and Stouffer Science Hall. And then we have the Living Learning Center, and that's kind of like pretty central, like to campus, close to like Benton Hall, Henderson, like Morgan, and like that area of campus. And so another question that y'all might have is, how do you apply for housing? So one of the first big things that y'all have to do is to get admitted or to get accepted to Washburn. After that, what y'all would do is you would go ahead and activate your My Washburn account. And then right after that, you would complete your housing application on the housing portal on your My Washburn. On Monday, our housing applications for the 2021-2022 academic year went live. And then once you start your housing application in February, you'd be able to select the specific space that you would like to live in for this upcoming school year. And then on your housing application, if you're interested in a learning community, you're able to mark that onto like your housing application. And one of the wonderful people on this screen would go ahead and reach out to you and kind of like provide some more information that y'all have. But that's kind of like my super short, brief like presentation about like what we offer housing wise for learning communities.
Well, I can go ahead and jump in. I think our goal for this conversation was obviously to provide information about the housing process and how to sign up for learning communities. But I think each of our learning communities serves a unique purpose on our campus. And so we wanted to take just a couple of minutes to share with all of you who might be thinking about learning communities as a good option as you consider living on campus next year. We wanted to highlight some of the things that we do and some of the experiences that are available to you if you participate in a learning community. So I'll start by speaking really briefly about the leadership learning community. So this is a learning community that we've had established on campus for 8 or 9 years. So we've been doing this for a little while now. And we've found a lot of success in just helping students who are interested in leadership build community with other students who have similar interests. And so our students have sort of claimed a wing of the leadership or of the Living Learning Center. So Third South, I believe, Shaden, is that correct? Yeah. Third South is where our students tend to gravitate and congregate. And so students who are interested in the leadership learning community will have to live in the Living Learning Center. And we kind of designate an entire wing of that facility for students who are interested in leadership and all enroll in our introductory leadership course called LE 100, Exploring Concepts of Leadership. And this course is a class that anybody can take. It's open to anyone. There are no requirements or restrictions for enrollment. You just have to want to learn a little bit more about yourself, a little bit more about how your leadership, how your individual strengths and skills and lived experiences inform the way that you lead and influence other people. And then our students who live in that hall and take that course together have the opportunity to have this really cool peer support system. So you're taking a class with your roommates and your suite mates and the people that you see in their pajamas at 10 o'clock at night down the hall. And so it creates this really comfortable learning environment where students are comfortable expanding on those conversations that start in the classroom, and then they kind of carry over into your living space, into the lobbies, into the programming, the social elements of your student experience. And then we have really amazing, each year, a really amazing resident assistant who is a member of the Leadership Institute who has taken that course, who serves as a peer mentor to the students who participate in the learning community. So Shaden Haynes is here with us tonight. She lived in the leadership learning community as a first-year student last year and now serves as the resident assistant for that program, and so can kind of speak a little bit to both of those experiences. So Shaden, I'm going to let you talk for just a couple minutes about what your experience has been like and maybe why the leadership learning community might be an attractive option for students.
Perfect. Well, Lauren really hit the head on the nail of kind of the process of everything. To me, what's one of the most beneficial things is kind of how unique every year is. So my freshman year, we had Marvel movie marathons, we had forts, we just did so many crazy things throughout the whole year because you build that community with those people that you're taking the class with that carries out throughout the entire year. And then past that, I still have friends that I made that during that year, and I still hang out with them continuously throughout these couple of years. So they're kind of lifelong friendships that you build. So far, we also have kind of programs every single month that are based on leadership. So that can differentiate between the month, but just like previously in December, we had like a gratitude project where we kind of learned about the importance of gratitude, and we had like a white elephant gift exchange, which was really great. And we had like Secret Santa that they did. So they really make it their own. And if you could see our lounge, it's all decorated with lights and kind of positivity that they kind of just did themselves. We also have karaoke nights. We have family dinner nights, rugby games that we go and support each other at. So just kind of various different activities that they do. And the best part, I think, about the learning community is that it's really up to the students that are there. It's really up to them to make it their own. And that's something that the students this year have done a tremendous job of doing. And they've really kind of built their own community in kind of a time that's really kind of a stressful and kind of a dark time. But they found kind of the light at the end of the tunnel within each other. And so that's been something amazing to see as their RA and kind of going forward as well. Yeah, and that's about it.
Very good. Thank you, ladies. I want to know what everybody's having for dinner. but you can send me that message later. No, we were bad and we drove through Dairy Queen. So hopefully you guys made better choices. So my name is Graciela Verumen, and I'm the first generation recruitment and retention for Washburn University. Now, regardless, of course, we want you to live in the living and learning community, but regardless of that, please keep my number and reach out. If you're first generation, you get me the whole time you're here. So yay, we're gonna be really good friends. And our learning community just started this semester during a pandemic. So thank you, Paloma, you've done amazing for, trying to take something off the ground during a pandemic. But we are just as passionate, even though we're the newbies, because of those reasons that Jack stated. We have research that proves that having these learning communities improves our students' GPAs. They build connections that keep them on campus and towards graduation, and it helps them build that network that a lot of times we're missing, especially when we're first generation and we come on campus. So write my number, keep my information, and if you're first generation, we use the definition that is used by the federal government for funding purposes and scholarship purposes. So if your parents do not have a four-year college degree, you're considered first generation. And we would love it if you joined us and helped us build this network of wonderful students that will get us through graduation. And I want Paloma to help us tell us a little bit more about what they've been doing.
Okay, so I know last year as a freshman, I lived at Lincoln. And since, like Graciela said earlier, it wasn't really like, I didn't really have much guidance going into it. I have an older sister that's kind of been like a few years ahead of me, kind of like telling me what to do, as well as my RA last year. She was huge help. And so whenever I applied for the RA position and I had the opportunity to be the RA for a whole bunch of first generation students, I figured it'd be, a good, way to give back to what I needed whenever I was a freshman. It really helps a lot, just because not just a single year of college, you can learn a lot. And so although I don't have too much wisdom, there's a lot that I could do myself. But not only that, I have made so many connections just with being a student here already that I feel like I could push any student in the right direction. Just so you know, like, oh, who do I need to meet up with this? And it's like, there's certain things that most people are like, oh, my parents told me to do this, or like my parents were alumni. And it's like, there's a lot of things that you don't get as a first gen student when most other students like will go to the same schools their parents graduated to. So there is like a lot of things that you would feel almost left out of because being a first gen. But honestly, like you said, Graciela, there wasn't much to work with this semester because of COVID. But I'm looking forward to the next few years when we get to, kind of work on it a little more. And I know that it could really contribute to a lot of students, and it'll be a big help. Just being able to be that parent that they aren't able to have. I know when it comes to like last school year, whenever they were like, oh, FAFSA in October, I was like, huh? Excuse me, what are we talking about? And so it's like, and it's always been like the type of thing like, oh yeah, I finished my part, now I just send it off to my parents. But in me and my sister's case, it always was like, since we kind of helped my parents with their taxes, we kind of knew all their information. So when it came to that kind of stuff, it's always like, it feels like you're on your own and you have to work on everything college related by yourself since you don't really have someone to follow after. So I think if anyone here would be interested in being a first gen, being in the first gen learning community, that it would be very beneficial to you. And obviously me being the RA for it this year, I don't mind giving out a helping hand. So that's what we're here for. And I think it's very useful. And I think a lot of other people would find it useful as well.
Yeah, worst case scenario, you have somebody across the hall to watch class, because everybody that it's in the living and learning community does my WU 101 class, which is like college 101, to watch the class with, because I don't know about you guys, but how many of us have technology difficulties? So you have somebody that you know in your class that is like, hey, my computer crashed or ran out of power, can I watch it with you? So it's just giving us that extra network that's going to keep us in school into graduation.
Excellent. Thank you, guys. I'm Carrie Wynn. I'm the director of the honors program, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the honors living and learning community. We're in Lincoln Hall, and that's where the honors living and learning community has usually been. And the class that is associated with our hall is an anthropology class this year. It'll probably be anthropology or sociology next year. These are general education courses. And the reason why I started talking about them, I'm really excited about it at the moment. I was just grading final kind of papers and portfolios from students who are in my honors WU 101 class, so their freshman experience class. All of the students who were in that class, that anthropology class, they mentioned it. Like, it changed the way they looked at the world. They were excited to be in that class with each other. It's an honors class, so it was smaller. It was really discussion intensive, so they really got to know each other. And it was a really, really cool experience for them. It's also a class that when I reached out to advisors over the summer, they said, oh, that's great. I mean, from nursing to math to history, all the advisors were like, this is a class we love them to have. And with honors, and it could be the same way too, with all of the learning communities, right? You can possibly be in more than one class with students who are on your floor, right? So in the honors WU 101 class and the anthropology class, students are in two together. I often see first generation students or leadership students in honors classes, right? So there's a lot of crossover between them. So you actually have a potential for a lot of interaction with people who live on your floor, no matter what floor you live on. So for honors, we've often had it hooked to a class or for different experiences. In the spring, we run a 1-hour seminar too, where students can have, again, a really interactive experience. Last year, we kind of got out in Topeka, right before the pandemic, that kind of cut us off halfway through. So we went to the symphony, we went to the Globe restaurant downtown and ate great food together. We did like all these experiential things. In the spring, a lot of the students I'm hoping are going to participate in another 1-hour seminar that we're offering. That opportunity is always there to kind of create that community. So the resident hall advisor is not with us this evening. I brought instead Hannah Kirby, who is the honors fellow for student outreach and recruitment. She is an honors student, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the honors program, because the students who are on the honors floor apply to and join the honors program. So Hannah's going to tell you a little bit about her experience in that.
Hi guys, thank you so much, Dr. Wynn. So yeah, my name is Hannah Kirby and I'm in the honors program. And I lived in the honors living learning community in my freshman year. And it was awesome. I mean, my roommates that I lived with my freshman year, I'm doing an internship with them at the Capitol, like this year, you know, my junior year. So I think it's the same with all the other living learning communities. You build relationships that you carry with you throughout your entire college experience. You see these people like at their worst when we're like all stressing about finals, and then, you know, we'd all go down to the cafeteria in Lincoln and get ice cream at like, you know, midnight or something, you know. So it was a really great experience. And specifically about the honors program, I think it's a really great program if you're looking to challenge yourself, if you're looking to kind of get outside of your comfort zone, listen to different worldviews, get different perspectives on a lot of different topics. A lot of the honors classes that I've taken have been the ones that I've enjoyed the most. They've challenged me the most, but I've learned also the most from them. So I would encourage everyone to apply for the honors program. We have a lot of scholarships. And, you know, I'm a first generation student too, like we were talking about earlier. So scholarships are super helpful. So, you know, get those scholarships as soon as you can. But yeah, the honors program is great. Helps you build a lot of good relationships. And it's good just for academics as well. So yeah.
Thank you so much, Hannah. And I'm sure that that's true of every, Graciela said it about herself, kind of contact me if you're a first generation student. Lauren, you know, for the Leadership Institute, myself for honors, no matter where you want to live, please get in touch with any and all of us, because we want to make your experience at Washburn the best it can be. The best it can be.
Thank you to all of our panelists for talking this evening. If anyone has any questions they would like to ask any of our panelists, please feel free to drop them in the Q&A or the chat below, and we will be more than happy to answer any questions. If not, that is all for our presentation portion of the evening. So you guys are free to go. So once again, please feel free to drop it in the chat, or otherwise you are free to leave for the evening. But I want to thank you all for turning out tonight, and I hope you learned a little bit more about Washburn.